Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Glenbard East's virtual Open House 2020. It's set to be what is sure to be the most interesting school year that I've ever had to deal with and probably ever will have to deal with. But really looking forward to the challenges that come along with the day-to-day learning and teaching with this remote style. My name is Dan Voss, and I am your student's math teacher for this school year. And I'm really looking forward to everything that's going to be going on throughout the course of the year. We've gotten off to a really strong start as far as participation and engagement and attendance goes, and the kids have been working really hard. So really looking forward to see how all of this transpires. My goal ultimately is to create the best learning experience for your child and help get them from where they are to where they want to be. Math is obviously my area of expertise, and so I'm looking to develop those math skills along the way. But I also really put a premium on building up some of these other life skills like communication, collaboration, critical thinking, problem solving, stuff that regardless of what your child plans on doing in their future, these are going to be valuable life skills for them. So throughout the course of this video, what you'll find are some pieces of information about me, about the course, some expectations, and at the very end, you'll find my contact information. Please feel free at any point to contact me with any questions or concerns that you have, and I'll be more than happy to address those. Feel free to pause the video at any point in case any of it is going too fast, and rewatch as often as possible. But welcome, and I look forward to a great school year. So just a little bit about me. As you can see from that top bullet point and from the picture, I am a Glenbard East grad. Graduated in 2006, born and raised in Lombard. Parents still live in the same house to this day. And for me, when I think about my times as a student at Glenbard East, all I have are positive memories, great influences as teachers and friends. And for me, it truly is a dream come true to come back here. And hopefully I can stay throughout the longevity of my career. And my goal is to help radiate some of my energy and pride in this school to students and have the positive impacts that my teachers had on me when I was here. This is my 10th year teaching overall, only my second at East. I spent 7 years at Plainfield South High School, and the year before that I was at Kankakee High School. But within those 10 years of teaching, this is my 4th year in which I'll be teaching AP Statistics. 3 of those 4 years, in fact, the last 3 years that I've been teaching it, students enrolled in my class have scored above the national average. And that's more so a testament to the work that they're putting in than anything else. That first year that I ever taught the course was self-admittedly not the best, as I was just learning the ins and outs of the course and being an AP teacher. But after getting that first year under my belt, students have been very, very successful. Lastly, if I'm not in the classroom, there's a good chance you'll find me involved with some sort of athletics around the building here. I currently serve as the sophomore offensive coordinator for football, and I'm the head JV baseball coach. Just a brief overview of AP Stats. The overall objective of the course is to teach students how to appropriately collect, analyze, and draw meaningful conclusions from data. This is very much a data-driven course in which students are going to learn a plethora of methods in order to work with data in order to draw meaningful conclusions. Students who are enrolled in this course are expected to take the AP exam in May. That's the whole goal of this course, and obviously to do well on that, to earn college credit, save some money down the road. The registration deadline for that AP exam is November 15th, 2020. District 87 will be paying for the student's first AP exam this year, and all other fees will be applied to the student account in PowerSchool. The AP exam is $94 per test. Registration is done for the course through AP Classroom. If you or your child has any questions about registration or about the AP exam itself, in general, not necessarily for AP Stats, but just AP questions in general, Mr. Scott Lilly, who's one of our counselors, he's also our Glenbard, he's our AP coordinator. He's a great resource to go to for all of those, and you can see his email there, scott_lilly@glenbard.org. Here's just a little bit of a breakdown of our units of study. by semester. So these are the concepts that students will be learning about throughout the course of the year. And we hold a very, very common standard grading policy. 90% and above in the course results in an A. 80 to 89% would be a B. Anything in the 70s a C. Anything in the 60s a D. And anything below a 60% would be a failing grade, which obviously we're going to do everything we can to avoid. Within that grade breakdown, we can see that the very strong majority of weighting belongs to tests. 80% of your child's grade is going to be based on how they perform on their unit assessments. Now, one thing that may be different from other math classes that they've had in the past is that in AP Stats, we do not provide individual test retakes. So what that means is if a child doesn't do well on the first chapter test, they're not going to have the ability to retake that test. However, what we do provide instead or in place of that are what we call cumulative tests, and we give those every other unit. So what that looks like is we'll do the Chapter 1 test, we'll do the Chapter 2 test, and then after the Chapter 2 test, students will take a test covering material from both Chapters 1 and 2. And what this does is it helps prepare students for the AP exam by providing experiences taking tests covering multiple units of study. And so what will happen is if the student's cumulative test score is better than any of the individual chapter test grades, I'm going to replace the chapter test grade with whatever they earned on the cumulative. So if they've earned a 70 on Chapter 1, and they earned a 90 on Chapter 2, and they got an 85 on the cumulative, I'll replace the 70 from Chapter 1 with the 85 on the cumulative. Cumulative tests cannot hurt a grade in any way whatsoever. So if the student does worse on their cumulative than on any individual chapter test, then that grade just doesn't belong anywhere in the grade book. Okay? And so as I mentioned, those are going to be after every other unit. So after Unit 4, they'll take a cumulative test covering Chapters 1 through 4. And after Chapter 6, they'll take another cumulative covering Chapters 1 through 6. But as I mentioned, this is a great way that's been very beneficial in the past for students to start getting acclimated to taking bigger tests covering larger chunks of material. But lastly, we have our 20% practice. And the way we do this is practice is provided in the form mostly of homework and example problems after each section. And then the practice is due the day after a section is completed. Most sections are going to span over the course of multiple days, anywhere from 2 to 4 days. The homework does become available to students the day we start that section, so that way they can start chipping away little by little each night based on what they've learned. Late homework does get accepted at partial credit, so it's very important that students do their best to stay on top of their work as much as they can. Lastly, we do have some opportunities available for extra help. Students, first and foremost, should be asking questions during class time as they arise. It's a lot easier to address a problem immediately while it's fresh in their mind than it is to wait until later on. If students are not wanting to put themselves out there in front of their peers by asking questions, Zoom does have a really nice chat feature that allows them to send me a private chat. And if I get one of those coming across my screen, obviously I'll handle that delicately and I can address the question or the concern without bringing any attention to the individual student. However, if your student would like more of a one-on-one sit-down to go over some things, I am available for one-on-one Zoom calls, and you can see those available days and times, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 1 to 2:30. If for some reason none of those work for your student, I've already made it clear to them that they can just reach out to an email and we'll find a way to make this work. Appointments should be made in advance, but it doesn't need to be too far out in advance. It could be that same day where if your child just recognizes they need help going over a couple things one more time, they can request that and I can make that work. Another option for help, and this is one we're very excited about. This year, Glenbard East was able to hire a brand new position called a numeracy specialist. And this is Mr. Huber, who is also a Glenbard East grad. But he is a certified math teacher, and his job is, rather than to teach multiple classes per day, He's just an additional resource available to all teachers, to all students for any math class whatsoever, from Algebra 1 up to AP Calculus. So there is a folder in the Schoology course where students can access all of his information, sign up for meetings with him. But that's a great opportunity for students who need to get caught up on something if their free time doesn't match up with mine, or if they just want to hear the same thing put in a different way from another voice. That may help it connect a little bit better. Okay, and then lastly, all students should be registered in AP Classroom for this course. In there will be an abundance of resources, old exam questions, video lessons, things where students can kind of get additional exposure to anything that they may have missed or are struggling with. Finally, my contact information is listed here. My email is daniel_voss@glumbard.org. That is going to be the preferred method of contact. I'm checking my email constantly, and I will get back to any email within 24 hours of that being sent. Even if I don't have an exact answer right then and there, I'll at least let you know that I received your email and I will be looking into it. The phone number that's listed there at the bottom is the phone number that goes to the phones in the math office. That's going to end up being a voicemail. I check those not as frequently as I do emails, so email is going to be the best option. If you would prefer to have a phone conversation, that is fine. All I'm going to ask is that you do is email me the days and times that work best, as long as a phone number to best reach you at, and then I'll do everything I can to make a phone call within that time so we can orchestrate that conversation that way. Otherwise, if you at any point have any questions, comments, concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to have those conversations as needed. I want to thank each of you for being involved in tonight and for watching, and I ask that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you and take care.